Jay-Z Guns N' Roses record with Lenny Kravitz.
That was you.
I produced that. I remember calling
Sounds
Jay-Z.
like,
I knew he was in L.A. and I said, all right, Jay's coming out. He's working on his album. Let me cook something up. So the day he got there, I made the record the day he got to L.A. and I found out what hotel he was in. I called him. I was like, yo, I'm coming to play you something. He's like, come on, man, I'm asleep. I was like, I'm coming over there right now.
So that was that Heavy D's first time meeting you, or he knew you of you already?
Yeah, he met me because I was kind of like,
Persistent.
every way persistent. So he met me and he knew of me, but when I came to his house, he was like, okay, this is enough, right?
And hip-hop pioneer Heavy D died last night. Collapsed outside his Beverly Hills home. Heavy D was only 44.
He was a superstar in every sense of the word. He was larger than life. From the way he rapped, to the way he dressed, to the way he danced, to the way he moved.
Sean Combs and Sean Carter have been working together for the better part of 25 years to find a way to take over full control of the entertainment industry. They have been slumping and sidelining relevant hip-hop communities for...
We really need to talk about what the late great Heavy D might have been about to expose before his untimely death, and apparently it involves the usual suspects, Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Diddy. Now, we all know Heavy D was a giant in hip-hop, but here's the thing: while his untimely death was officially ruled to be from a pulmonary embolism, there have been a lot of suspicions over the years, and some people believe Heavy was eliminated because he was a threat to Jay and Diddy's empires. There were also some reports circulating that Heavy D allegedly had some info about a secret alliance in the industry. And since he refused to play by the rules, keeping a clean-cut image, staying away from substances, and refusing to glorify the street lifestyle, in his music, he was apparently seen as a threat to the power structure that helped bring Jay-Z and Diddy to the top of the game. Today, we're going to dive into all of this, what Heavy D may have known, what he might have been about to reveal, and why his death left so many questions still unanswered. Let's get into it.
Of making money, and an artist is in the business of being an artist by any means necessary. So it's stressful trying to, educate some people who have these high positions that you have to deal with and don't necessarily know what the talking about.
There isn't solid evidence of a deep, long-standing beef between Heavy D and Jay-Z, but there were some rumors circulating in the early 2000s about tension in the industry, and Jay and Diddy pulled some shady moves behind the scenes to remove all competition. At that time, Diddy had a major influence on the industry, especially in the 90s and early 2000s with his Bad Boy empire, and as we know, Diddy didn't just work. With artists, he controlled the narrative. Now, Heavy D was also successful and respected, and there were rumors that he was starting to outshine people in certain ways, especially after he was named senior vice president at Universal Music. Now, Diddy and Heavy D had a complicated relationship, and there's been a lot of speculation over the years that Diddy saw Heavy D as a potential threat to his empire. Heavy D's influence in the industry combined with his public persona and respect could have made him a target.
And that was real cool. And you like to dress. Why do you dress up when all the rappers are going with sweatsuits and chains?
Wow.
Not all the rappers, but many.
I just like dressing, ever since I was little, I just put on clothes all the time. Now that I got some cash, I could buy what I want. So I used to have to squeeze it to I used to have to go to a regular Alexander store or something.
Yeah.
And try and fit what you could wear.
Yeah.
But now I got a little cash, I get tailors and all that.
Yeah.
I don't do no drugs. All my money on clothes and my parents.
See, Heavy D was definitely cut from a different cloth, and one of the biggest things that set him apart from Jay-Z and Diddy was his approach to life in the music industry, while Jay-Z and Diddy have often been open about the hustle. Heavy D kept it relatively clean, and he never got caught up in that lifestyle that was huge for someone in his position, especially during the 90s when the rap game was heavy on street culture. Heavy D was also vocal about his health and wanted to be an example to the youth. He made it a point to stay away from substances that many of his peers were dabbling in. On the flip side, Jay-Z and Diddy come from different parts of street life and have often referenced their pasts in their music. Jay-Z rapped about selling narcotics and his connection to the street. He didn't always glorify it, but he definitely talked about it in his early music. Diddy, though not necessarily into the street hustle like Jay, was known for partying, hard hanging with the best of the best in the industry, and allegedly even doing some, let's say, intimate favors for the big wigs in the music industry in exchange for money and protection.
This is over Arista, which is over Diddy's Bad Boy record. Now, rumor has it, allegedly,
But Heavy D wanted to show people a different way. He focused on positivity and staying away from narcotics, a mindset that wasn't always easy for people in the rap game, especially back then. But Heavy D was the guy who showed that it was possible to be successful without all that extra stuff.
Dwight made as an artist.
He said, Mom, do you think I could really face you and my dad if they're listening to me on the radio or anything and I'm using profanity?
And November 8, 2011,
he's gone.
From their home in Mount Vernon, the matriarch of this proud Jamaican-American family tells me about the very beginning when a then 17-year-old Dwight told her he wanted to be a rapper.
I said, I'm going to give you 1 year. And if you make it, I will be supportive. But if you don't make it, I want you to make me a promise that you're going back to college.
Done deal.
Within 6 months, Andre Harrell ended up in my house, asking me to sign the...
While Jay-Z and Diddy had the mentality of doing whatever it took to get to the top, Heavy D wanted to enjoy success without extra baggage and shady dealings. And honestly, it worked for him. He didn't just build a career in music, he crossed over into acting, doing TV, and even mentoring, showing that you could be a mogul without sacrificing your principles.
This is also in the earliest stages of Jay-Z and Beyoncé as a couple. And so we're on the set and we're filming the video. And if you look at the video, there's a lot of kind of skimpy outfits. Right. And Queenie's there also. So it's not like I'm like sitting there salivating over another woman. And Jay-Z calls. And he's like, yeah, how's the video going? Oh, it's going good. Are the guys there? Yeah, they're there.
This ain't a car race now. As you can imagine, Jay-Z and Diddy didn't want anyone standing in their way or showing people you don't have to be a snake to make it to the top in the late 90s. Jay-Z was just starting to build his empire with Rockefeller, and by the 2000s he was practically unstoppable. And a lot of people have speculated that both Jay-Z and Diddy saw Heavy as a threat. On top of that, there were rumors floating around about Heavy D possibly getting too close to Beyoncé now. There's nothing solid to confirm, but Heavy was definitely getting a little too touchy-fey with Beyoncé in public now. We all know how protective, or better say controlling, Jay-Z was over his relationship with Beyoncé. Remember when Jay-Z kicked Bun B and Slim Thug out of the video shoot for their collab with Beyoncé? Check on it for no reason other than BA's revealing outfit
Why you can't find Case's Happily Ever After video with Beyoncé? Well, I'm gonna put it like this. Jay-Z probably made some phone calls and had that video removed because allegedly Beyoncé was 17 years old when she was in this.
Then there was also that time that Jay-Z allegedly had Case's music video for Happily Ever After, which features Beyoncé on the track, permanently removed from YouTube.
You know, it's them and some of their homies. He's like, wait a minute, how many dudes are there? And so she's like, oh, it's about 9 or 10 guys, I guess, over there. Where are they now? They're in here, they're in the soundstage, they're watching her film. What is she wearing? They describe the outfit, and he's like, yo, clear the room. I guess Beyoncé gets wind of the call. She comes up, and she apologizes. I'm so sorry you guys had to leave the room, but...
What's ironic is that the video was completely innocent. And on top of that, Jay-Z was literally in the video for Ain't No Ninja with Foxy Brown when she was 16 or 17. So for him to act like he was protective of Beyoncé because of her age is wild, and don't even get me started on the fact that he's the one who ended up cheating after all his controlling behavior. But I digress. Going back to Heavy D, Jay-Z always acted like he had nothing but respect for Heavy in public. But behind closed doors, he was allegedly pulling all types of shady moves to sabotage him now. Let's talk about Heavy D's sudden death. He passed away on November 8, 2011 at the age of 44, and at first the media reported his death was linked to pneumonia, but an autopsy report that was released almost 2 months later slated that the real cause of death was a pulmonary embolism, which is essentially a blockage in the lungs caused by a blood clot that likely originated in his leg. But here's where things get real interesting over the years. Fans have speculated that there might have been something more to it, especially when you take into account that multiple people connected to Diddy also passed away from pneumonia. And then there's another wild theory that some people have been throwing around alleging that people connected to both Diddy and Jay-Z all died under suspicious circumstances around their birthdays. So Hebbd passed on November 8, 2011, just 4 days after Diddy's birthday. Then there's also the case of Kathy White, who was rumored to be Jay-Z's mistress. She died on September 1st, 2011, just 3 days before Beyoncé's birthday. Then there's Diddy's ex, Kim Porter. She passed on November 15th, 2018, exactly 11 days after Diddy's birthday. And don't forget about Shakir Stewart, one of Kim's exes who died on November 1st, 2008, just 3 days before Diddy's birthday. It gets even more creepier when you look at Pimpy, who had a known beef with Jay-Z. He died under shady circumstances on December 4th, 2007. Yep, that's Jay-Z's birthday, and if all that wasn't sketchy enough, we have the case of Jackie Avant, the wife of legendary music executive Clarence Avant. Jackie was tragically killed during a home invasion on December 1st, 2021, just 3 days before Jay-Z turned 52. I mean, the timing of all these deaths is crazy, right? And sure, these could all be just crazy coincidences, but that didn't stop fans from speculating. And then there's the fact that Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and Diddy all have birthdays on the 4th between September and December. Beyoncé was born on September 4th, Diddy's birthday is November 4th, and Jay-Z's December 4th. Another wild coincidence right now. Obviously, there's no concrete proof that foul play was involved in Heb's death, but let's be real, people wouldn't be speculating like this if there weren't all these other suspicious deaths connected to Jay-Z and Diddy. I mean, at some point you have to start asking, how come all these people who threatened their empires or were involved in some shady business? Whether it was because of his potential influence, or maybe even some secret knowledge he had that could have threatened people in higher positions. But listen, at the end of the day, it's still all speculation, right? What we do know for sure, though, is that Heavy D's impact on hip-hop and the culture, that's one thing that's undeniable. But let me hear your thoughts on all this. What do you think about all these rumors surrounding Heavy D's death? Do you think Jay-Z and Diddy saw him as a threat? Or is this all just people reading too much into things? Drop your comments below and I'll catch you in the next video.